Everybody remembers Michael Jordan, right? You know, the pro NBA player that did that Space Jam movie thing with Bugs Bunny back in the 90s and, made the Chicago Bulls team cool? Well, there's some serious business going down with his son, Marcus Jordan. You see, the 32-year-old is currently dating Larsa Pippen, who is the ex-wife of Michael Jordan's teammate Scottie Pippen. And Michael could not be more clear that he is not happy about this relationship.
Hey, Mr. Jordan, what do you think about Marcus and Larsa Pippen together? You approve of it?
No.
You don't approve? Do you think he's going to ask her to marry him?
What is up with this situation? And why is MJ so against his son's new relationship? It turns out that Michael feels like Larsa probably groomed Marcus, which makes him upset he's completely over the whole situation. Larsa apparently first met Marcus when he was 6 years old. Larsa claimed that everyone was okay with her relationship with Marcus, but that turns out not to be true. A lot of people are actually creeped out about this relationship. There's a giant age gap between the two. Larsa is 49, which places a 16-year age gap between them. This has people talking about whether their relationship is appropriate based on the age difference. Now, we're not saying that every relationship with an age gap is creepy. Sometimes it just works. And of course, what two consenting adults do behind closed doors is nobody's business but their own. But when you have a huge age gap between an older person who met the other person when they were only 6, it starts getting weird. Larsa was an adult when they met, and it's just creepy to think about it that way. Here's why they met. Marcus is, of course, the son of NBA royalty, Michael Jordan, while Larsa is Scottie Pippen's ex-wife. Scottie Pippen was part of the '90s Chicago Bulls dynasty and played with Michael Jordan. Basketball players and their families tend to socialize outside of work events, so it's no wonder that the two had met, honestly. So what's creeping people out is that Larsa is even considering entertaining attraction to someone she knew when they were a child. Larsa has come out and said that she and Marcus didn't know each other when he was a child, and that they never interacted when he was a kid. Check out this comment she left under a post by The Shade Room. I just met him 3 years ago. I never knew him or his family. I was 21 years old and in college when Scottie played that 1 year with MJ, and we weren't friends with them like everyone thinks. Now, everyone knows that there was a little bit of a rivalry that happened between MJ and Pippen, but if what Larsa is saying is true, that'd be really weird. Most team players are at least civil and cordial with the families of their teammates. Of course, no one really believed her story, so she repeated the story about how they met in an interview.
Well, I feel like we literally just met at a party 4 years ago.
Oh, really?
And we were just friends.
Because we all lived in Chicago. And
yeah.
When did you meet him?
4 years ago.
4 years. Where?
At a party, like an LA party.
Did you know who he was at the time?
Well, yeah, we have a lot of mutual friends.
Yeah, people didn't really buy that either. A party? Not even which one or for what occasion. No mention of who else was there or who you went with or nothing. But one of the reasons people say she's getting so much backlash is because she's went out of her way to be shady about the relationship from the start. She didn't acknowledge the relationship at first. It took an insider leaking info about the relationship for it to come to light. Larsa and Marcus Jordan are casually hanging out. The two of them have a lot of the same friends in common, so they have been around one another a lot and enjoy hanging out. The insider also said they are having fun together. Larsa's divorce from Scottie was finalized at the beginning of this year, and she's enjoying that freedom. Something was up, and when people asked her about her relationship with Marcus or whether she was dating him, she all out denied it.
I have a lot of friends. I'm very social. I was married for 23 years. This is the time for me to really honing on my relationships. So that's kind of what I'm doing.
Maybe she wasn't ready to take it public. Within a couple of weeks of her denying dating Marcus, pictures of her kissing him went viral. So it was quickly determined that her saying she wasn't dating Marcus was a lie, and people called her on it. She also said that when she started dating Marcus, she saved him on her phone with a fake name. I could never really put your name in my phone, so I had you under Mark Jacob. I didn't want anyone to know when you called me. Okay, that's definitely suspicious. I don't know about you, but when I'm dating someone new, and I'm happy and everything's going good, I'm not out here hiding them. A lot of people feel that this sounds like more than Larsa trying to keep their dating life private, and they think she tried to hide it because it was something that shouldn't be happening. If she hid it, then people think that people close to her had less of an opportunity to blow the whistle on her for this creepy relationship. Now they've been dating for almost a year. Here's what an insider said about the situation. It's still casual and they're having fun. She's trying her best to keep it quiet and not make a big deal out of it. They see each other at least a few times a week. But what everyone really wants to know is how these two's families feel about the relationship. You've got to remember that Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan are each other's arch enemies at this point. And I just can't imagine that he'd be okay with his son dating essentially his enemy's ex-wife. You see, MJ put out this documentary series on Netflix called The Last Dance, which was supposed to depict the 1997 Chicago Bulls team and their historic performance. But the thing is, Scottie feels like Michael made the whole thing about himself and didn't acknowledge the rest of them or tell the whole story. Pippen said, "I don't think it was that accurate in terms of really defining what was accomplished in one of the greatest eras of basketball, but also by two of the greatest players, and one could even put that aside and say the greatest team of all time. I didn't think those things stood out in the documentary. I thought it was more about Michael trying to uplift himself and to be glorified. I think it also backfired to some degree in that people got a chance to see what kind of personality Michael had." Oof. Well, it's easy to see why Michael Jordan wouldn't exactly be cool with his son dating Pippen's ex, but to hear Larsa tell it, everybody's cool with it.
Have you met Michael Jordan and Juanita Jordan, and what did they say about the relationship?
You know, I mean, of course, I recently have met, I've recently been hanging out with them, but I don't really want to talk about them. I feel like it's not about, my parents or his parents. They're all happy. Our whole family's fine.
So she basically dodged that question, and not very artfully either. But she did seem to indicate that neither Scottie nor Michael had an issue with the relationship. And while we have no idea what Scottie thinks about this, we do know that Michael has come out recently and said he doesn't approve of Marcus's relationship with Larsa at all. This is what he said when he was in Paris a few days ago, and the paparazzi asked him about his approval of Marcus's new relationship.
Hey, Mr. Jordan, what do you think about Marcus and Larsa Pippen together? You approve of it? You don't approve? Do you think he's going to ask her to marry him?
There is no way that Michael is that outspoken against a relationship and Larsa didn't know. So it seems like, yet again, Larsa lied. Of course, many people aren't too shocked to find out that MJ isn't supportive of this relationship. An insider has come forward saying that MJ is creeped out by the relationship and has been from the time it started. Supposedly, he thinks it's predatory that she'd be attracted to Marcus, and he didn't keep this to himself. He told her and Marcus. But the thing is, he also knows that Marcus is a grown man and that he has to let him make his own choices, even if he doesn't like them. Apparently, Marcus isn't enthused with his dad's outward disapproval of the relationship. He was quick to schedule an interview to talk about his dad's comments. "We spent Thanksgiving together last year and my family loves her. They think she is great, and ultimately, I think my family just wants to see me happy. And so as long as I'm happy, they're happy with, where I'm living." Everybody had an opinion at first. I think there was some shock and interest early on, but I think that was the whole point of us trying to spend some family time together during the holidays. At least for me, if we're gonna be in the media, I kind of need to introduce you to my mom and my mom's side and my dad's side. And so I think that went well, and so far, so good. Yikes, that sounds like an overcorrection. It's like he went, "Oh no, Dad doesn't hate her. We had Thanksgiving together. I introduced her to everybody and they all love me and her." Yeah, right. That's for sure not how MJ made it sound. The internet is full of opinions too. As per usual, wait, Larsa Pippen married Scottie Pippen in 1997, when Marcus was 6 to 7 years old, and Scottie and Michael were playing for the Bulls. It's a given groomer. Another user said, "We didn't need anyone to tell us Larsa was lying. She lives on her own planet. We all watched that Last Dance. No way he was on board." This user said, "Y'all remember the interview Larsa Pippen did with Tamara Hall talking about how she was good with Marcus's parents and that everyone seemed on board? Well, either she was lying or things took a turn because Michael Jordan said he ain't with that woman." We're really interested in what Thanksgiving will look like this year for this family now, since it was supposedly all good last year. We bet it's pretty awkward, especially between MJ and Larsa. And if Larsa takes Marcus to family gatherings with Scottie, whew, that could be just as disastrous. But what do you guys think? Is it creepy that there is such an age gap between Larsa Pippen and Marcus Jordan? Should she be dating someone she's known since he was a kid? Well, let us know down in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.